Hey guys, what's up? Today I'll be ranking the Wild Arms series from worst to best. I'm only going to take on the main Wild Arms games. There are 5 in total, which is why the name of this video is Top 5 Best Wild Arms Games. That means no spin-offs or no games that will never release outside Japan. Alright, with that clarified, let's begin! Number 5. Wild Arms 4. When I first played this game, I didn't know it was the black sheep of the family. Hell, I don't think that term existed yet in RPGs back in the day. All I knew was that it was a Wild Arms game, and since I flagged one of the others, I had to play it. This was the second title in the series I played, and I did enjoy it for what it was. I wasn't into purity when it came to the Wild West feeling, since it's barely there here, so I managed to play this game without any prejudices. Now the truth is that I found some areas lacking, such as the story and characters, but otherwise I had no issues playing it and enjoying it. I later played all the other titles in the series and decided that this just wasn't as good as them, but that never meant it was a bad game at all. I liked Wild Arms 4 and I still think it's a solid entry in the series. Sure, developers try to do something different with the ambience of the game, as well as with the battle system now being played in all these hexes, but in my opinion, they got it right, and I had a good time with it. It might not be among the best Wild Arms ever made, but it still is a decent turn-based RPG on the PlayStation 2.
Where to go? I'm not good at holding back. Oh no, you don't. Let's see now. I think something good.
Number 4. Wild Arms, or Wild Arms Alter Code F. I wasn't sure if I should pick the remake instead, but since they're both the same story, practically the same game, I think the spot goes to both of them. You can't go wrong with either version anyway, so might as well talk about both. I first played the original on the PS1 and I remember it was a little bit generic for my taste, considering I had played before lots of other giants in the genre. But it was later on when I finally understood the magic of it, how it had grown on me without even realizing it. I grew fond of the game just as I had already grown fond of the series. Its simplicity and its wild west orientation were pretty basic, but also pretty original at the same time. Then I played the remake and I was amazed by how different it looked, but also how similar it played to the original. If you want the retro feeling, definitely pick the first Wild Arms on the PS1, but if you prefer PS2 graphics and giant sprites, then Alter Code F is a must. Both games are one and the same, very similar and very different at the same time, but either way, they're just as great. Number 3. Wild Arms 3. This was actually the last Wild Arms title I played in the series, after having finished all the others. Since I was already in love with the franchise, aware of all its virtues and flaws, I knew exactly what to expect from it. I gotta admit that it did comply and it did meet my expectations, so I thoroughly enjoyed the game and now it's among my favorites. I love the characters, especially the main heroine, Virginia, who is still nowadays one of the best female protagonists I've seen in a JRPG. You get to experience the entire story through all 4 characters' points of view in a fresh turn-based battle system where they can all move around the battlefield as they please. With each Wild Arms title, media.vision, the developers, wanted to try something different, but without getting ahead of themselves, so in the end they brought a third and solid entry into their Wild West franchise. This game was later ported to the PS4, so if you don't have a PS2, you might want to get it digitally on a modern system. Either way, Wild Arms 3 is an excellent game and totally a classic from its own generation. Number 2. Wild Arms 2. Wild Arms 2, in my opinion, was the real jump to establish Wild Arms as a franchise. Initially, this game didn't do as good as the first one had done. Perhaps I should have played the first one back when it was released to get a better picture, because I sincerely can't understand why a game like this was rejected by most fans outside of Japan. Over the course of time, however, it gained more recognition and became a cult classic that's a favorite for many gamers out there. I am, of course, included, since it's my second favorite Wild Arms ever. They improved the puzzles and the battle system to something challenging and satisfying, but without altering any crucial elements from its classic mechanics. There were now more main characters than in the first game, in a very well constructed plot and a deeper story, each character with their own solid background. In truth, they did a great job for a sequel in this game, although none of them are connected and are all standalone titles. I prefer this excellent RPG over any of the others I've talked about so far, but my all-time number one will always be Wild Arms 5. So number 1, Wild Arms 5. It's the very first Wild Arms I ever played without even knowing it was different from all the others. It took the hex battle system from Wild Arms 4, something much better and well done. The story and characters were so charming, cool and original that I never thought I would become any more fond of them, especially with Avril being one of my all-time favorite co-protagonists ever in a video game. Her character development was so interesting and deep, with a very solid plot twist near the end of the game, that I could never get tired of praising it. Seriously, in my opinion, Wild Arms 5 is the epitome of the series. It just did everything right. Although from a purist point of view, I can understand the reasons behind their rejection. But you know what? I don't care. I love this game, its story, characters, music, graphics, and especially its battle mechanics, which, oh boy, turned it into a real challenge. I consider this the hardest Wild Arms in the series, but still balanced nonetheless. It did make me rage quit in a couple of battles for being brutally hard, but the satisfaction I felt when I finally overcame them gave me something to never forget. That's it for this video, guys. All that is left is for you to share what do you think about the Wild Arms series, in what order would you put these games, what are your favorite Wild Arms games, etc. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. See you next time.